So I'm back, and it's going to take a lot of effort and energy to not share with you the internal freakouts that are going on, knowing that this time tomorrow I should be finished and ready to go with my 4-week holiday. So yesterday went extremely well. I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity that I had to speak at the government Diversity and Inclusion Summit in Sydney. It was an incredible honour. It was frightening. I was terrified. Whenever I have an opportunity to speak to a different audience and it's about subject content that I'm not necessarily talking into every single day, then I feel very anxious. I like to make sure that I'm okay and that what I'm going to say is useful and relevant. Thank you, Linda. What was so useful and helpful for me to understand, however, was that as a rehabilitation counsellor, I am working with diversity and inclusion every single day. In fact, the concept of needing portfolios or people dedicated to having an inclusive workplace practice seems strange to me, because isn't that what we all do anyway? But apparently not. So for being able to speak in a place where equity and adversity and how we have better conversations and how we treat people as people first, not as difference first, how we stop shaming and blaming language and start ensuring that we have inclusive language was really empowering, and it was really insightful. And I had to be courageous to get myself there and to be able to do that, but I was also genuinely interested in learning about this very part of our work, which is something that we are all doing every single day. And what's disappointing is that we still have a culture that says that diversity and inclusion here in Australia means women. And I just find that amusing. I don't work in an environment where women are the minority. Health professionals, women tend to be the majority, but why is that so? So there's all sorts of social questions that come up. There's also sorts of equitable questions that come up. And what it forces us to do is examine our own unconscious bias, which is weird when you think about it, because if it's an unconscious bias, how can you examine it? So what I want to share with you today is to look at where you find it difficult to be with people who are not like you. And we all have them. We're not supposed to be a good fit for everybody. But where do we find it difficult? Now, I will admit, my business, we are predominantly white, middle-class women. The thing that's really fascinating and interesting for me, however, is that I don't think there's anybody on my team, maybe one, who doesn't have an ongoing medical condition or a disability where they require some adaptation for work. Now, I haven't done that deliberately. In fact, if I had gone to recruit that, I don't think I could do that. It's just I've become so versed in agile workplaces and how you make work that I don't expect there to be a problem. Now, this is different if somebody is incompetent. Please get that. If a person is not the right fit for the job, if the person quite clearly after training instruction can't do a job, then that's not necessarily an inclusion or a diversity factor. We need to be competent in the roles that we are asked to execute. But it really did make me think. For a long time, I was very concerned that there was not enough diversity in my team. And I've had other people in my world going, hey, can we pick up the diversity here? And for me, my unconscious bias was I don't have people with different color skin to me in my team or in my community. But when we look at the diversity, the diverseness of diversity, I think we can all appreciate that people of different skin color may not be the people attracted to me, may or may not. But this is where we start to examine our unconscious bias. and they're thoughts that are still forming in my mind. But one of the things that we've got going on here at Purple Co at the moment is that we've built this program, and we want to make it incredibly accessible to people. And we put this program together thinking that we would be helping insurance companies by reducing their spend on us traveling to clients. So we've assumed that clients would have telecommunication technology that would allow them to access us via video conferencing, not understanding that not all regional parts of Australia have this access, that people can't afford to have this type of telecommunications infrastructure, even if it is available to them, and that some people that we're working with are just so, they're out of touch with information technology that the idea of sitting in front of a computer and talking to somebody terrifies them. So we have created a way of being able to deliver a program via the telephone. We go face to face. We go where the person needs us to go to do what the person needs us to do. And what's been wonderful is that our insurance company partners have gone, whatever you need to do to make this happen, whatever you need to do to make this happen. So they're understanding that not everybody has the same level of information technology literacy, that not everybody has the same level of comfort when it comes to information technology. So that was a bias that we had that we weren't prepared for until we started working with clients. So that's a really concrete, tangible example. And it's just a problem-solving mechanism. It is a problem-solving mechanism for us to go, what makes it difficult for this person to participate, and how can I help participation occur? So I'm again, just a little bit overwhelmed that I was asked to speak at this event yesterday, and I got to support a gorgeous woman who is living with a really chronic and disabling medical condition. And we, as a team of women, I'm in a group of women that we all get mentored together. And this community of women got together and we created a management plan to help her, our friend, get the best out of herself, so she wasn't having to think about how to take care of herself. We had that covered. So all she had to do was turn up and deliver. So it felt like, look, this whole week has been living and breathing inclusion, and I've just loved it. And I'm very excited about the conversations that I can see starting to happen. So I'm kind of a little bit all over the place because I'm still not finished thinking through all of my own thoughts around diversity and inclusion. All I know is it's bigger than just gender. It's bigger than skin color, and we need to get better at identifying where our own biases are turning up for us, which is, like I said before, how do we do that? And like Adele's raising the question, if it's unconscious, how do we do that? So I think we as health professionals, we're pretty adept at this. We have it thrown into us, and it's something that becomes a part of our DNA, is that you don't deny anybody services. Basically, you just don't. But there are other parts of our life and our world where our unconscious bias around diversity might be creeping in. Excuse me. So on top of that, I thought I was a lot more prepared for leaving tomorrow than I am, because the work doesn't stop. So here I am thinking that I will do this at this day at this time, this at this day at this time, this and this day at this time, but more work and urgency and work and urgency keeps coming in. So I have quite a lot I still need to do before I can set sail tomorrow. And many thanks to those of you who are wishing me a happy holiday. I am looking forward to it. I am doing my best to make sure that there are recordings of This is Private Practice available at this time, so you don't miss me too much. And you might also get to hear the episode where I've created my own jingle to help me get through a very complicated process of how you make sales online. So I'm going to go and do the things and the stuff that demand my attention so that I can go on holiday. And I am looking forward to catching up with you tomorrow, when I'm hoping that there is something with bubbles in this cup tomorrow. Maybe not quite this big, but anywho. So until then, go and be your awesome self.